Hey guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about sleep and the importance of sleep in health and in mindset and stress and all this kind of stuff. And there's a lot of people out there who are trying to be healthy, and they're doing a lot of different things. They're watching what they eat, maybe they're supplementing, and they're really not sleeping correctly. And this is going to be really, really key, in holding them back. And you won't achieve total health, you won't achieve total wellness without sleeping properly. And it sounds simple, it sounds kindergarten, and it kind of is, but again, a lot of us are neglecting this, and a lot of us, we fall into, prioritizing other things, prioritizing work or relationships or something like that, and neglecting our sleep, right? And this is, I'm busy these days. I'm traveling around. I'm doing all these things, and I have to put even more effort into sleeping. And again, there's a lot of people who think, well, you're on the grind, you're on the way up. You don't need sleep. Sleep 4 hours a night if you have to, and you might have the motivation sometimes to stay up all night and hammer out something, but it's going to affect your health if you continue to do that, right? And there's a ton of examples of this, of people burning themselves out, people that I know burning themselves out from it, and people who are, again, genuinely trying to do better and just genuinely trying to heal, and they're not sleeping correctly. So some things that I've learned, and by the way, I was an insomniac for like 25 years before I found this whole nutrition thing, and that cured me of that. But then again, there's also life things that have impacted my sleep as well, and it's impacted my health, and it's impacted my ability to perform, my ability to pursue opportunities, my ability to do the work that I need to do. If I'm too tired, I can't really do these types of things. My brain's tired. You can force it, but you're not going to be doing the greatest work, right? So we don't need 4 hours of sleep. You don't need 9 hours of sleep. You need as much sleep as you need, and this is very important. And this is actually one of the reasons why I don't like working a job, because I don't like being on that schedule. I like to, determine my own schedule, and I like to sleep as much as I need to sleep, not as much as I want to sleep, as much as I need to sleep. And sometimes it's less, right? Sometimes I just get jacked up and excited, and I want to work, and I'll work until later than I should, and that's fine. But I want to make sure that I'm sleeping. So, and again, by the way, most of the successful people that I listen to, that I talk to, that I know, they go to sleep early, they wake up early. Waking up early seems to be one of the keys to success here. Beating the sun, getting it in before the world wakes up, kind of thing. Getting your exercise in, whatever, 5 in the morning. I was on that for a long time, waking up super early, getting a whole bunch done, and I've achieved a lot that way by going to sleep early, waking up early. And I've received criticism from this from people in my life. They're saying, oh, you're no fun, you can't stay up past whatever 9 o'clock, and it's like, well, I'm getting a lot done, and I'm going towards my goals. And that to me is more important than spending an extra hour or two with the people that I like right here. It's great. We can spend all this time, later when we're successful, especially if you're talking about a job and business and all that. Well, if I wake up early and I grind and I do it properly, number one, I can feel good, and I can enjoy the evening that we do have, even if it ends at 9 o'clock. And number two, we can achieve these huge goals together, right? Or we can go on vacation, we can spend more time together, if I don't have to, again, go to work. You can stay up all night, go on 4 hours of sleep, and go to work the next day, probably because you don't have to perform that at that high of a level. But if you do need to perform at that high of a level, you need your correct sleep, and waking up early is the best way to do it, in my opinion. So I've read books on this as well, and mindfulness books and all kinds of things that'll teach the same thing, that the lack of sleep will contribute to your stress in life, and your stress in life will domino throughout everything that you're doing, with business, work, relationships, money, all of that, And if it's detrimental to your health, it's none of this stuff really matters. What's the point of having a bunch of money, a bunch of supplements, if you're not healthy, right? If you're not functioning correctly. So going to sleep early, forcing yourself to go to sleep early on habit, it might be hard at first. It can be very easy to correct that schedule, right? Forcing yourself to sleep at 8 o'clock. Sounds crazy, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I do believe that our circadian rhythm determines that we should sleep optimally, during this window, during the 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock kind of thing. There are people who say that we achieve the deepest sleep between 10 o'clock and midnight. We shouldn't be up at that time, right? And for me, if I stay up past midnight, there's no way I'm getting a good sleep. It's not happening. It just won't happen. I'll wake up at 6 or 7 and I won't be well rested. I think it's very, very important. I don't like waking up when the sun's up. It makes me feel weird. But whatever you believe in and how we got here, whether evolution or religion or whatever, I do believe that there's a rhythm to this thing, and both it can be explained in both models, that we are optimally meant to sleep again, whatever, 9 to 5 or something like that. And when you get into that habit, it feels very, very good. It feels very good to wake up early, and you get a bunch done, and you sleep great. You know, you're tired by the end of the day, 9 o'clock, whatever, and you get a great sleep. And if you're not in that habit, it can sound weird, but again, all the most successful people that I know, they're all on roughly this schedule. And some of them, if they want to get more done, they say, well, I'm going to go to sleep earlier, right? And I know people who go to sleep at 8 o'clock, and it sounds crazy, but they say, hey, well, I can wake up even earlier, and you get your best done in the morning. You get your best exercise done in the morning. You get your best writing done in the morning. Writing especially, you know, before the whole world starts making noise, before the rest of the house wakes up, you know, you can sit down, you can focus. And that time's very, very valuable to me. And I find that really nothing that good happens at the end of the day, genuinely. Now, some people might think that they work best at night. Now, I think if you correct the schedule, you're going to find different. You're going to find that you actually do your best work in the morning. And one of the people I listen to, Grant Cardone, he says nothing good happens past 9 p.m., I believe. And, you know, that sounds crazy, but some people also say, you know, nothing good happens past like whatever, midnight or something like that. But I think it's past 9 p.m. really. What's going to happen past 9 p.m. that I can't do during the day, right? And the main reason I'll fall off this, by the way, is to spend time talking to somebody that I like or spend time with somebody that I like. But again, I'd rather get that time in during the day. And if there's something preventing that, I want to work hard so that I can correct that, so that I can spend more time with my loved ones, so I can call them during the day or whatever, figure out a schedule that works so I can get it done within the workday rather than compromising the next workday to stay up late and talk to them, kind of thing, right? So with health, it's fundamental, right? With business mindset, it's fundamental. I want to talk about some other things that would help you sleep better, truthfully. So forcing yourself just to go to sleep, it might not work for you, right? You might toss and turn. You might go to sleep at 9 o'clock and you might just sit there until 12 o'clock. Well, sitting around and rolling around isn't going to be the best. I would suggest getting up, leaving the room. By the way, clearing your room of all distractions. Take the TV out, take the cell phone out. You know, come into the living room, do some reading or something like that. I wouldn't recommend doing the phone. Do some reading, get yourself tired, go back to bed, try again, right? And this is because you don't want to associate these other activities with your bed and with your sleep. To me, reading makes me very tired. I like to do my reading in the morning. Another thing, reading's more effective for me in the morning. I don't really remember it at night. I get tired. My thoughts are all distracted. It's full of all the things that I've done during the day. I'm thinking about the day. I'm thinking about tomorrow. You know, and having the habit of reading in the morning has allowed me to read a ton of books, right? And it's only because of reading in the morning that's done that. And most of the time, it was only like an hour. I'd set out an hour in the morning and read, boom, and I've got 2,000 books under my belt or something like that from that habit. And remember, our habits make us who we are, and your sleeping habits are going to have a lot to do with that. So removing all the distractions, if you toss and turn, it's going to take a little bit to get into that habit. You know, a lot of people are using things like marijuana or melatonin or something to help them get to sleep. This is a crutch that's not really necessary. You know, when I stopped smoking weed, by the way, I did have a harder time sleeping for like a week. You know, it took a little bit to normalize out. I was used to being super burned out by the end of the day, and when I stopped that, I had more energy and I was up longer, but I just forced it. I just went to bed, right? Went to bed, woke up. And this is for me, again, if I go to sleep at 11 o'clock, I'm still going to wake up at the same time as when I did at 9 o'clock. It's going to take away from my sleep. It's not going to really fundamentally change it. And that'll make me more tired the next day. So a few days of that, I got kind of tired. You know, I was staying up too late, but I was still waking up early. And this can be part of it too, forcing yourself to go to sleep late, forcing yourself to wake up early. Don't sleep in all day, right? Make sure that you get a nice tired by the end of the day. You could do more exercise in the day. Now, if you do more exercise, you'll be more tired by the end of the day. That's one suggestion. And people just have too much energy. You got to spend it. You got to spend it before, you know, your window, and then you'll be tired enough to go to sleep for sure. I mean, I'm usually very tired at the end of the day, and it's because I'm doing a lot. And it doesn't necessarily mean physical. The mind work stuff, you know, business, whatever, that'll tire you out as well. So if you're sleeping with your cell phone in your room too, this is going to be detrimental. You don't want to use your cell phone as your alarm clock. You want to get an old school alarm clock if you need an alarm clock. And you don't want to be up texting. You don't want to have that blue light on you. You just get rid of it. Don't even bring it in the room. If you have a partner, same thing. Don't let them keep the phone in the room. Put that down as a rule. Take all the electronics out of the room that give out a signal, right? You can have your little digital clock or something like that. Just make sure there's no Bluetooth on it or Wi-Fi on it or anything like that. Clear out all these things, the tablets, laptop, clear your workout. And by the way, I used to actually think it was a good thing to have a bunch of books in my room. I don't think that's a good thing either. I think the bedroom should be a place of peace. It shouldn't have any books in it, shouldn't have any work in it, shouldn't have anything like that. This is where you go to sleep, right? There's nothing else. And some people can't necessarily do that with their living space. Well, make it a place of peace as much as you can. Put in a salt lamp, by the way, next to your bed or in the bedroom. That can help as well. I know it's electric, but it can help as well. It's providing good energy, you know, instead of the bad energy from the cell phone or whatever. And other than that, I mean, you just want to be extremely mindful about this, and you don't want to just make excuses for yourself and say, you know, well, I'm not tired, so I'm not going to go to sleep. Well, put yourself to sleep, right? Normalize this out, iron it out, and see what you can do when you wake up early. See what you can do with an entire day in the way that day is supposed to be. The last thing I'm going to mention is actually a couple of devices. We promote these frequency tuning discs. There's not much to look at. It's basically a brass washer with energy put into it. And there's a bunch of other devices like that. I'm actually wearing a pendant under here that does something very similar. And this is because of the radiation stress. Again, this can be exciting our cells, you know, and this might sound crazy to some people, whatever, but if you're overly excited, if you're overly agitated by electromagnetic frequencies and stuff like this, addressing that can help people sleep just on their own. We get a lot of testimonials like, wow, I sleep better just on its own. I should also mention the nutrition as well, that insomnia is fundamentally a mineral deficiency. There's other things, obviously, we talk about a lot about, you know, eating the bad foods that can get in the way of the absorption of these nutrients, habits that can lower your stomach acid so you can absorb those minerals, right? Digestive problems that can be contributing to this. All of this will contribute to sleep problems as well. And some of the other sleep problems like teeth grinding, sweating at night. You know, I used to sweat at night because of low blood sugar. It's a mineral deficiency, digestive problem as well. It'll wake you up. You know, it'll affect your sleep. You don't want to wake up in the middle of the night. So normalizing these health things, you can talk to us about it. You can DM us or email or whatever. It's on YouTube. And we can talk about that because there's a lot of people who fundamentally can't sleep. They have trouble sleeping. They toss and turn. They wake up, you know, or they sweat and they wake up sweaty and they got to change, you know, or their habits are causing them to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. These are things that need to be changed so that you're getting a full sleep, and it will impact your life all the way through it. It will ricochet through with positive benefits of getting a good sleep. And again, I've been somewhat criticized for this in my personal life, but the most successful people that I know, they know the importance of sleep. And there's a bunch of people out there saying, no, you got to grind. You only need 4 hours. I don't need sleep, stuff like this. And it's going to affect you long term. It's probably going to affect you short term as well. And there's no pride in it. There's no pride in saying, you know, I only sleep 4 hours a night because I'm on the grind. You know, I'm so busy. I don't have time to sleep. Whatever. It's not beneficial. What's beneficial is taking responsibility for your own health, your own mind, your own well-being, and that includes sleep. It's crazy, crazy important. So I hope I'm not forgetting anything else. I mean, there's a couple other things too. If we're really trying to figure out why somebody's not sleeping well, I've heard cases even where those little stickers on the roof, you know, little moon and star stickers were distracting somebody, and I mean, you take those away and they can sleep better. We're very sensitive to light even when our eyes are closed. So having a darkened room is very, very important. And this is why, again, I can't sleep when the sun's up. No way. You know, even in a darkened room, I think the circadian overcomes that. But any light is not going to be good for you at all. So even if you have that little digital clock, face it another way so you're not seeing it. The soft light from a salt lamp, to me, that's not so bad. It's a different type of light, but you could even cover that as well and just keep that in the room for the ions that it's given off rather than for the light itself. But I don't think that a soft light like that really is that important. You know, I don't think moonlight, for instance, as well, I don't think that really affects our sleep. I think that's more of a natural thing. But blacking out as much as possible, and this is just, you're going through the checklist of what can be affecting you. If you already sleep great, that's phenomenal. Then it's just the timing that I think is very important. And if you're having trouble getting onto that timing, or you're having trouble sleeping throughout the night, you got to address each one of these things. You know, nutrition, radiation, light, other distractions. By the way, cats. You got a cat, you got to lock that cat out. Don't let it wake you up. There's a lot of people actually, it's quite common, say, yeah, I get woken up all the time by my cat. My cat wants to play at 3 a.m. Can't lock it out. Get it. You know, you got to stop that. Same thing. Dog. partner, husband, whatever. You got to put your foot down and say, don't wake me up, right? Change your habits so that you don't affect my habits, kind of thing. And it might be more difficult for some people than for other people, but this got to be done. You can't be woken up in the middle of the night for any reason. Maybe if you have a little baby, this is a different story, right? You got to tend to the baby. It could also be a health problem with the baby. It's why it's waking up. You can address that as well. We can talk about that as well. But either way, get rid of the distractions as much as humanly possible. If you're on night shift, by the way, if you're on shift work, physically impossible to be healthy, in my opinion. Right? Some of the worst cases that we deal with in the health business are shift workers, especially shift work nurses, not just for the shift work, but also for their high stress job and the stuff, the demands that's made on them, that isn't human basically. And there's just no way. There's no way that you can actually function optimally while working night shift, right? So what does this mean for you? It might mean you need to get another shift, might mean you need to get another job, might mean you need to get another career, right? I don't think it's right. Even emergency workers, all this, I get it that we need it. Well, it's killing the people who are doing it, right? So if you are on night shift, maybe being on a regular night shift is better than shift work, constantly changing it. But either way, a night shift is one of the most unhealthy things that you could possibly do. Ask anybody on night shift, they know how hard of a toll it takes on their body. And again, people in the health business, we know they're our hardest people to deal with, because we can give you all the nutrition, we can give you all the advice. And if you're not sleeping correctly, your body's not going to heal correctly. And I don't think your body can sleep properly when it goes to sleep at 8 in the morning. It wakes up at 2 in the afternoon. I just don't think it works like that. So it sucks to say for some people, and they might have to really reevaluate their life. And we might have to really reevaluate how our society functions in demanding all these night shifts and all these 24-hour places and stuff like that. And by the way, most places that you go, they don't have all these 24-hour things. They've got a few emergency services, but it's only in the big cities where we've got the 7-Elevens open all night and stuff like that. And the rest of the world adapts and realizes that the gas station closes at 9 o'clock. It's just how it is. When we get our stuff that we need from it beforehand and whatever. And when you're on the road too, this. You go through the small towns, they're not open at the middle of the night. The gas station, even, whatever. You just got to plan for it. We just got to be smart. We got to be responsible. And we got to value sleep more than we value convenience for some things, right? Or maybe that convenience isn't necessary. Anyways, maybe I'm going into a little bit too much detail here, but any one of these things, could really affect you. And if you're not sleeping, that's going to affect you. So I think I've said enough on this for now. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, hit me up in the DM or the email, any way that you can get a hold of me. I'd be happy to talk about sleep, especially if you're trying to succeed, especially if you're trying to use one of our programs to succeed. You need to sleep. So that's it for now, guys. Much love and respect. See you next time.